What up, guys? Carolina Jackpot time coming at you. It is Friday afternoon. I hope everybody's doing good today. Doing my usual routine of trying to finish up as many stops as possible on a Friday so that the weekend workload shall be light, because we got a college football weekend coming up. No South Carolina game this weekend, thank God. And thought about live streaming something tomorrow, but I don't know. I'll probably just take a break from it and do nothing but watch college football tomorrow. Of course, YouTube TV and Disney are still in their big spat over content, and YouTube TV not wanting to pay what Disney wants them to pay for it, and Disney refusing to budge because they want everybody to move over anyway and get on Hulu TV or Fubo or Fubu or Fila or whatever the hell theirs is called. I'm like, I'm just going to stay with YouTube TV until, I don't know, I guess I'll stay with it till the end of football season, honestly. I mean, I don't see any reason to switch at this point. I've been with them for a while. I've been loyal. I've got the ESPN app on my, I have Watch ESPN or whatever it's called. So, I don't have any problem with watching any of the ESPN content, but it does bog down pretty bad right now, especially on Saturday afternoons. It was doing it last Saturday. It kicked me off a couple of times, and I had to restart. It was getting aggravating, quite honestly, and it's because I don't know what it's called. Is it a server? I don't know. It's loaded. It's carrying too much. There's too many people trying to view the content off that particular app, and it's just not built for it right now. I underestimated how popular college football was. You got to think. How many different? Think about it, not just in households, across the country, but like how many bars and restaurants across the country have multiple TVs that were possibly using YouTube TV to stream sports on Saturday afternoon to watch college football. I think they underestimated that a lot, but they don't care. It's all about money, greed, money, and being assholes, and they don't really care. They absolutely don't really care. By the way, did you know your groceries are going to be going up too? Walmart and Kroger already announcing that they're going to hike prices up. Could be as much as 25% to make up the loss of these SNAP benefits, probably inventory loss and everything else here during this government shutdown. What a fucked up world we live in, I swear. Anyway, I'm done ranting about that for right now. How about this stuff we got going on here with some LaNorris Sellers transfer portal rumors? I was waiting for this to get started up. In fact, I'm surprised it hasn't gotten started up already. If you remember last year, there were some rumors out there about him potentially hitting the transfer portal. And Carolina Jackpot, if you'll remember, I took kind of offense to it, and old Sports Talk Jay was out there making videos about it and probably kind of crowing about it, to be honest. Of course, they got a taste of getting laughed at later on, or right before spring practice was over with the whole Nico situation there. But obviously he was offered kind of in back channels money to go to another SEC program and play. A lot more money is being paid at South Carolina. Reportedly, it was Auburn. I don't doubt that it might not have been Ole Miss either. Knowing the way Lane Kiffin operates, the way he lives in the transfer portal. But he chose to stay at South Carolina. He was happy with the NIL package that they gave him. But now things are different. He hasn't had a really good season. He's had a terrible season. Let's just be perfectly honest. 6 touchdowns right now, like 4 interceptions, not even in the top 10 in passing yardage in the SEC, and at times hasn't even ran the ball effectively. Of course, he's played behind a terrible offensive line, but he played behind a terrible offensive line last year. I mean, the unit gave up 40 sacks. It did start playing better towards the end of the season, but it never was, a cohesive bunch. He's not played behind a good offensive line the entire time he's been here. The same can be said for Spencer Rattler. He played behind 2 terrible offensive lines the 2 years he started in Columbia. It's just, the more and more I see about this stuff, the more and more mad it makes me, and the more and more just disdain it makes me have for Shane Beamer as a head coach. He should have been able to see and identify after his first year in Columbia that the offensive line was an issue, there was a problem, and he should have gotten it fixed then. It shouldn't take his head being on the chopping block for him to do something about it. Even when, we made a bowl his first season, kind of pulled off a couple of upset victories over Auburn and Florida down the stretch. Carolina was able to make it into a bowl, and they actually pulled an upset in that bowl. If you'll remember, the Dukes Mayo Bowl, they won against North Carolina. They were a double-digit underdog. So that was a good win, and it seems like whenever we get these small victories like that, like beating Clemson the year after, it's like everybody is just like jumping up and down, they're high-fiving each other, slapping each other on the back, acting like we've just won the freaking World Series or something, instead of saying, okay, good, but we got some issues here that we need to address, or we're not going to be able to build on this next year. Seems like nobody ever does that. It always seems like good enough is great here. Good enough is always great at South Carolina. Good enough is not great. Good enough is something to build on. Something that you can launch forward into the future if you can build on it and be able to look inside good enough and fix, well, why wasn't it great? Why was it just good enough? But he can't do that. And I don't want to hear the excuses about, well, he's a first-time head coach, he's going to make mistakes. Bullshit. This guy has been on coaching staffs for damn near half his life. And coached under some pretty good coaches. Kirby Smart, Phil Fulmer at Tennessee back in the day, Sylvester Croom at Mississippi State, his dad at Virginia Tech, Steve Spurrier. You coached under some pretty intelligent football minds. Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma. He obviously doesn't really care about the defensive side of the game, but offensively, he knocks it out of the park. I refuse to believe that he couldn't have picked up any of the good habits that he's coached. He just wasn't listening. He wasn't listening and taking notes. So it was. He didn't bring a yellow legal pad with him to write down any notes to any meetings. No, he didn't. He just brought his ass to hang on his shoulders all the time. This makes me aggravated to even look at him sometimes when I think about the wasted talent that we have run through this program the past few years. And hey, look, you can say, well, why are you picking on him all the time? I did the same thing with Muschamp. The guy was trash too. 2 garbage head coaches in a row. Thank God South Carolina's gotten a new athletic director in place. Hopefully in the near future, he's going to make some really good hires. I think he will. Fingers are crossed that he does. But in the meantime, we got to get this situation with the LaNorris Sellers transfer portal. And there's a guy locked on Gamecocks named Chris Marler. He does videos every day about the Gamecocks. I don't know what if he, his website, if you look at it, is like LouisianaSports.com or something. He lives in Baton Rouge. He's from South Carolina, I guess. I really don't know. I don't know. Is he a Gamecock fan, or is he just somebody they said, hey, we need somebody to do Locked On Gamecocks. Would you be interested in pretending to be a South Carolina fan? And maybe he is. I don't know. But I'm kind of back and forth on him. I don't know. He put a video up though yesterday, which piqued my interest. He had up the Miami, the little U in the thumbnail, and the LaNorris Sellers talking about transfer portal rumblings. And then I watched the video, and then he just goes into talking about none of this has been confirmed. I don't have any news. This is just speculation based off what we've seen in the past. Okay, well, yes, Mario Big Chest is one of those coaches who lives in the transfer portal whenever he needs a quarterback. He's not one, they don't develop quarterbacks down there. You see this a lot now with these programs. Mark Stoops was really bad about it at Kentucky until this year when he finally switched over to Cutter Boley, a guy that they actually recruited and that they are trying to develop. You know, he went from Will Levis, transfer portal, Devin Leary, transfer portal, Brock Vandergrift, transfer portal. All these guys were Stephen Powell. Well, I guess Levis wasn't technically a Stephen Powell. I didn't really see anything great about it, but the other two before him, after him, definitely not very good at all. Especially Brock Vandergrift. Guy was uber disappointing last year. So there are those coaches who just they don't develop a quarterback. They just go to the portal and get whatever they need every single year. South Carolina, I don't think is gonna be that. It doesn't seem like maybe bringing somebody to kind of plug and play and everything. But Miami is a team that does that. So they're basing this off of something that Todd McShay said over on his, I don't know, something was filmed on Twitter. I don't know if he has a podcast. I don't know what the fuck. He's one of these NFL draft analyst type of people that LaNorris Sellers needs another year in college. Okay, yes. Well, we've confirmed this is to be true. This is not breaking news. He was the one that suggested something like Miami, and it does make sense because they've taken over the past few years. They took, what was his name, De'Aaron King, the guy from Houston that came and was one of the first NIL deals. Of course, you've seen Cam Ward go there. And Cam Ward actually had success. He actually leveled his game up a lot at Miami. That was the number 1 overall draft pick, obviously. And then this year you see Carson Beck there. We all thought that he would put up outstanding numbers playing behind that offensive line at Miami with the skill position players they have on the outside there. And it really, it hasn't panned out. He's a hot pack of mid, if you ask me. Guy throws almost as many damn interceptions as he does touchdowns. I'm out on him. Never really have been a real big Carson Beck guy. But for what it's worth, paid him a king's ransom to come there and play. And he's not exactly lighting the world on fire. So could LaNorris Sellers potentially transfer out and go to Miami? Sure, I would think so. He's a South Carolina guy. He's a homegrown talent. They spurned the advances last year from suitors that were coming after him from the portal. So, I wouldn't think that he would be one who would up and leave. Just hearing some of the things that I've heard from people that actually know people that are actually in his circle, like actually in his family, that he was down and out about the play calling this year. He was kind of upset about that. That is true, and that has had an effect on his game, and not just the play calling; it's the mindset that comes along with it. But all inclination is that he likes it here and that he wants to stay a Gamecock, from what this individual told me. Now, whether, things can change too. This guy's young still. His mind can change in an instant, just like that. And then this offensive coordinator hire that Shane Beamer brings in is going to have to be something that's going to be a fit. If you want, he could still test his waters in the NFL draft. He can go compete in the combine. His numbers will be good. He'll have great measurables, and someone will draft him. They'll draft him pretty high. But any of us with a working set of eyeballs can tell that he needs another year in college to level his game up, because he's not ready yet. I don't think he's ready mentally for what the NFL is going to do. And I think that's the whole thing about the Mike Shula shitty game plan. It's kind of brought to the forefront maybe that he's not ready mentally to take that next step. So we'll see what happens with that. Offensive coordinator hire, we have no idea on that right now. Mike Fury, it looks like, is going to call the plays for South Carolina, which he had a really successful stint as a head coach. Now, albeit it was at Limestone College, or did it change to Limestone University? I don't know. It's not even a school anymore. Went belly up back in the spring. They had to shut the doors on the place. But he had 2 really successful stints there as head coach. They were Division II, I believe, the Saints of Limestone up in Gaffney, South Kakalaki, and ran an offense which I understand to be, it was kind of an offshoot of the old Greatest Show on Turf deal that the St. Louis Rams were doing back in the day with Kurt Warner and all those guys back in the late 90s, early 2000s, which was it was a college offense in the NFL. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. I don't see South Carolina having a lot of success at Texas A&M. I don't care if they're running that offense. I don't care if they're running the option, the veer, the pro style, the freaking triple option, the damn Greatest Show on Turf. It doesn't matter what they're going to try to run against Texas A&M. I really don't think it's going to be successful. But then again, you never know. I mean, I've told you that there's no chance they win that ball game. I don't think there's any chance they win it. But I don't think A&M's going undefeated either. And I have a sneaky suspicion a game at Mizzou this weekend. I think it's tomorrow. That's a 3:30 game. I got a sneaky suspicion about that one. I don't know that anybody goes undefeated. I think that Ohio State goes undefeated. I don't know that Indiana remains undefeated, and I do not know about Texas A&M. If they take another L, or if they take an L, their 2 best chances for L's are this game tomorrow on the road at Mizzou, or the game at the end of the season in rivalry week on the road in Austin against the Texas Longhorns. They ain't losing to South Carolina. They're just not. I mean, we're too far gone, I think, to be able to beat them. The best you can hope for is 5-7. Beating Clemson, if you can even do that, it's going to have to be your Super Bowl. You know how I hate the term Super Bowl. But, I mean, essentially, that's what it's going to have to be, because you ain't going to have a bowl game to go to. You ain't going to have a bowl game to go to, barring some kind of miracle finish here. But LaNorris Sellers to Miami, and let me just say this about that as well. I mean, if he does leave, and if he goes to Miami or some of the people are spitballing with that, because it's just a place that makes logical sense as a school that takes a transfer portal quarterback every year, which I just alluded to. I mean, it doesn't have to be there. It could be another SEC school. We don't know if he did decide to leave. But as for me, just in terms of Carolina Jackpot and what I think on that, I can't blame him. I can't blame the kid if that's what he wants to do. I can't hate him if that's what he wants to do. And if he does, I'm going on record right now and saying I'm not going to I want to be mad about it. I'm going to be upset because I think there's a ton of potential there. But, hey, look, at the end of the day, I can't blame him because he knows what's up. I mean, he's seen all this firsthand. He's a member of this team. He knows that Shane Beamer is... Now, he's probably not going to make the greatest hire when it comes to an offensive coordinator. Just because of the track record. The track record of the man. I mean, it shows us that he's not going to be able to do good things when it comes to hiring someone to run that offense. And he's probably like, this is my last year of college. I mean, now I'm getting ready for the league. I mean, why am I going to come in here and not be developed? And I've not been developed in this entire season. It's been a waste for me. I ain't fixing to waste another year of my life. And who can blame him? No one can. And here's the other thing with the Gamecocks, too. Just because if he does transfer out, doesn't necessarily mean your team's going to be dog shit next year. I mean, we've seen cases out there of teams that have lost significant pieces to the transfer portal, but they turned around and portaled in some other pieces and were able to still do good things. And we've seen the inverse. We've seen Florida State 2024, case in point. And we've seen Dabo with Clemson. Never mind, he doesn't use the transfer portal, so we ain't got to talk about Dabo. But I can't blame LaNorris Sellers if that's what he wants to do. Nobody knows what's going to happen right now. Here's the thing. I can guarantee you this. Somebody will hit that portal that you don't want to. That's a really good player. And we'll be picking some people up that are really good players. It just remains to be seen who that is. What kind of, I don't know what kind of bill of goods or what kind of line they're going to throw at them to get them to come here, because things haven't exactly looked great the past year or so, but, or the past, 9 games. But we'll just have to see what all shakes out, guys. Anyway, that's about all I got to say about that. If you've listened to this video this far, you're a trooper, by the way. I want to go on ahead and make sure I promoted our live show that we're going to do at Callaway Sports Bar and Grill in West Columbia on November the 28th. That's the Friday night, the night before the South Carolina Clemson game. We're going to have the recording of our show start at 8 p.m. over there. You can come, hang out with us, meet myself, meet Rob. We're going to do some team events there, some dart throwing, beer chugging, wing eating, all kind of stuff. We'll have some little competitions. We always have fun when we go out there. If you don't drink, you can get yourself a cold Coca-Cola or a sweet tea or water or whatever you want. It doesn't have to be that. You can just come out there and hang out with us at Callaway's. I'm going to put the address down in the address down in the description box below. I'm going to try to link a map down there. I tried to do it with the Apple Maps, but that didn't work. So I'm going to try a Google map and see what that might be like. I'm going to try to do that anyway. I'll see you guys later on. Appreciate you. Peace. And I'm out of here. Go Gamecocks.